How are you doing today, good viber? It is your girl Esther Joy coming at you with another video. And on this channel, we love to talk about love, light, joy, and peace. And of course, if you enjoy spreading those good vibrations to the planet, then know that you are in the right place. So today, I wanted to talk specifically about the elementals and using them in manifestation. Really, I think that we overlook that we really do have everything we need here on Earth, and it is such an amazing way that everything is compounded that we can use these elements to help further create our manifestations in magical ways. So let's just go over the 5 elements that are really associated with manifestation, elemental magic, and of course the chakras. And I'm really excited to make this video and acknowledge how beautiful and wonderful this earth is, that we truly have everything we need in the literal palm of our hand. For this video, I'm going to be using my fingers to help signify the elements, and of course this is for anyone who does any mudras. They will be able to use this knowledge to help them in their meditation. So yeah, there's a lot to cover. Hopefully I will be able to make this short, clear, and precise. Alright, so let's start with water, okay? Water is associated with our pinky. It's also associated with our sacral chakra. So water, this beautiful element of water, is known almost as a source of life. Of course, its fluidity and the understanding that it has been almost like a heirloom that has been passed down, that our ancestors drank the same water that we do now, and that water holds the memories of those beings, okay? This beautiful understanding is some of the characteristics of water. And when it comes to manifestation, if you're someone who does spell work, it's really important to understand that if you add water to your spells, as many spells do, that this will allow for a more flexible life experience to take place. Water, I absolutely recommend if you drink it, you know, if that's how you use it in your manifestations, or if you have like a some kind of bottle where you store water, moon water, all of that beautiful water, understanding that water is such a powerful source tool for life force to flow through creatively, allowing this flexibility to take place. So water is also associated with the pinky, as we discussed, very fluid in the sacral chakra. So now that you know this, there are many ways that you can use water in your manifestations. The top one is drinking it with intent. Drinking your water, and before creating an intention of what that water is for, will amplify the manifestation that you're going for. You have to remember that water is a living being and has its own consciousness, and that this beautiful sacred water spirit is very flexible, and it's very vital to have in your manifestation, because you want your manifestation to come to you, and sometimes it has to maneuver around other life experiences and get a little bit creative. So drinking water and having this intention, having this intent before you drink it, is very powerful. I recommend maybe even writing on a slip of paper what you are wanting to manifest, whether it be an emotion or it be an object or whatever it is that you are wanting more of in your life, to write it on a slip of paper before you go to sleep, and then fill up a cup of water and put that cup of water on top of that paper. Now this is setting, almost charging your water with that intention. Of course, you don't have to use paper if you don't want to. You can also blow your intention in the water, which leaves me to the next element, which is earth, okay? So earth is associated with our ring finger. And earth is where that paper is, where that cup is being grounded on. Earth is so beautiful, okay? This leaf is earth, okay? And many of the physical things that we touch are earth. If you like to use crystals in your spiritual practice, that is considered an earth/ether element at times. So the earth element is really, really powerful for grounding yourself, stabilizing that intention, and actually being steadfast in what you are wanting to see more of. My advice for Earth, it is associated with the heart chakra, so it has a lot to do with your I said heart chakra, and I sincerely apologize. That is wind, but I am getting that the heart chakra does play a role in Earth when you are grounding outside very much. But this brain fart right there. But the root chakra is actually associated with the element of earth. So the root chakra, it makes so much sense because you're grounding yourself, you're rooting yourself. This is where you're really creating that stability within, and you're allowing yourself to nurture it, to keep it in a strong, stable foundation. So root chakra is really important. Again, we have a ring finger associated with earth, and really, if you write on anything, you know, physical objects, a lot of them are associated with earth, especially if they come directly from the earth, as many things do. So it's quite broad, but when it comes to this element, it's nice to have it broad so that you can have a solid foundation with where you are going. And this is where we get a little narrow. I mentioned with the crystals that they're almost a mix of earth and ether element, especially amethyst, and that is associated with the middle finger. So the ether is associated with the throat chakra. It has a lot to do with, you could say, like, the unseen things that are happening in the background that you can't really sense, but you maybe, you know, you can hear, you can't really sense it per se in this physical world, but they are still happening because they affect the physical world. That's kind of the ether element. So the ether is, again, associated with the throat chakra, which makes a lot of sense. We use this chakra to speak things into existence. So the ether element, you know, is a divine expression of the divine almost. It is a medium that everything else can mix in, and it is extremely powerful for manifestation. I would say that using your voice is a really great way, and actually just speaking to yourself as if you were speaking to the divine, really powerful manifestation tool. The ether also is a medium for the spiritual world to come towards you and to be able to communicate. So this is a very powerful element. It is very magical, and it has a lot to do with your subconscious and the meanings that you have within and have accepted to be your beliefs. So ether is very powerful. I would say that the number one tip I have for anyone who wants to tap more into that element I'm getting is to just meditate. Yeah, meditate. So that silence in between doing things, that is where the ether is strongest. So meditation can be very, very useful for it. Now we're gonna move on to our wind, and now this wind is associated with the heart chakra, okay? So wind has a lot to do with your breath, but also, you know, blowing intention into things, as mentioned with the water part. When you blow on an object with an intention, that is very powerful. Like, you can clean your crystals by blowing on them and envisioning almost a white light coming from your breath. Okay, air is really associated with breath and breath work and all of that fun jazz. associated with this finger right here, or pointer finger, again a very powerful finger for indicating things. And we love our air element because it really is associated with that infinite cycling breath again of life. And of course, our heart chakra, there's a lot of connections believed to be within the wind. So whereas the ether is more of that invisible force where a lot of things are going on that will eventually, they affect the physical, but in a more invisible way, the wind is affecting the physical in a way that we can see and feel, yet we can't really see wind itself. It's more of connected to the ether in some ways, but definitely its own individual element, because just because, I really do need to look into why, but they're separate. You can use wind to blow intention, and the ether is more about the subconscious and the spiritual realm. And of course, everything is connected, so there's that. Yeah, so that's wind. We're gonna go on to fire, which, is considered one of the most powerful elements just because of the rap it gets. It is quite destructive. It's associated with the solar plexus chakra, and fire is usually used to, not destroy things, but the energy that it emits is quite powerful, and it requires usually some kind of earth element to help continue that energy. So fire is very powerful because, one, it's associated with the thumb, and the thumb is a really, we humans are very blessed to have our thumbs, but also using fire, it can be a bit dangerous if you do not, do it in a well regulated place, but it also can be quite powerful. Fire, solar plexus chakra is all about the powerhouse of our energy body, and it's associated with converting that ego or that will into our physical reality. It's all about that physical based action, and really wealth, abundance, and physically receiving manifestations. It has a lot to do with the physical, and has a lot to do with fire and self-worth, because if we look at the sun as our ball of fire that's in the sky that helps bring light to certain situations, it's also constantly burning. And with fire, when we use it, a lot of the times we are burning away limiting beliefs that we once had, but also setting a light to the things that we do want more of in our reality. So that's why fire is so powerful. It really does eliminate those things and those blockages. It does help a lot with that, especially with the use of earth. As you can see, earth is that foundation, and fire is more of that destruction, creation force. So by combining the two, you can destroy a lot of limiting beliefs or ideals that you might have had to help assist you with your physical manifestation. So yeah, I think that's all of the elements, all 5 of them anyways, and we used our hands to talk about them. Of course, you can use this when you're meditating. If you want to really meditate on maybe destroying some limiting beliefs, you could use this mudra. If you're really wanting to activate, your spiritual team, you could use this mudra. And if you're wanting more focus and, of course, just a more balance with your breath, you can use this mudra. So each mudra has its own kind of unique feeling and energy, so I highly suggest that you play around with it and just meditate and see which ones feel right for you. But yeah, that's really all I have. So if you have anything to add to this video, any experiences that you've used elements, or you have another element that I haven't discussed, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below. And of course, like this video so I know so and can continue to make more videos like this one. And subscribe if you haven't already, because why not, fam? Why not? And hit that post bell notification as well, you know, just if you want to, of course. And really have an amazing, fantastic day. Namaste.